Fellas, what's going on tonight? How you doing?
What's going on
Hey,
with
no
y'all?
school, no grading,
No grading.
voted,
Hey, I'll tell you what.
oil changed.
Had the
I
oil
had to set
change.
up. Listen. I had to set up my. Final day of doing my shit with the class I'm teaching, and it has been a well of a spring for me. I gotta tell you, like the kids aren't bad. That's not my problem. The problem is I'm coming home and still doing work. You know, it's a lot. It's a shit ton of grading all the time. But it was only like 6 or 7 weeks, and it's a nice little chunk of money on the side. I tried to get some summer school work, and they told me, nah, you ain't getting that, brah. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? They just don't have the kids. See, during COVID, they got a shit ton of money from the government. So any kid who wanted to take like classes in the summer to get ahead and stuff like that, they could, and they could take it for free. So at the end of the day, what happened was that money ran out last year. Now they went from about a shit ton of people teaching classes to about a fifth of that. So the one dude says, you know, the guy that runs it, he's a nice guy. He's the one who gave me the class in the evening. I'll teach evenings until I finish. But long story short, he says, I don't have any classes, you know. And the one lady I teach with, she's awesome, but she's been teaching 4 classes a summer, 2 in the first session, 2 in the second session. She said, I only got 2 classes. And I'm like, huh? She's like, yeah. So I emailed this dude back. Hey, what's going on, Daniel Barry? How you doing, old guy? I emailed this guy back, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? Will I get a crack at one of those classes if it feels? And he looks at me and he says, or he emails me back and he says, no. He says, people who are on the waiting list in front of you who have already been assigned classes, but we're getting multiple classes. And I'm like, wait a minute, what about the equity in Montgomery County? How about that? You know, like, I'm like, yeah, how about that shit? You know, because, you know, we're all about talking equity. Spread the love around, my man.
Can you do private tutoring sessions? You know, parents want to pay for that.
Hey, look, I could, but it would be such a headache. You know, I like teaching the online stuff, even though the kids don't come on. I'm good with it. Like, I'm good with it now. After we did it for a year, I'm good with it. I just, yeah, it's a little bummed out, but you know, so, oh shit, who cares about me? Half hood, half holy. Sis, you had a good one. We know where that man's from.
Yeah.
Know where I'm from. It ain't where I'm at now.
Hey, in the immortal words of Rakim, it ain't where you're from, it's where you're at.
Yeah, man.
And he followed that by the ghetto. Yes.
Where you started, where you finished.
Hey, Sheen, what's the name of that restaurant you was asking him about?
Slutty Vegan.
Dude,
Slutty Vegan.
Listen to me. Slutty Vegan, plant-based burgers.
Atlanta, GA.
Yes, down here in Atlanta. Woman owns it. Her name is Pinky. There's a few different
like Pinky Tuscadero.
The one in Atlanta,
Pinky
the one downtown in Atlanta, which you probably went to, Sheen. There's an average of an hour and a half to 2 hour wait at any given time.
Anytime.
The one up near me is about a 35 to 40 minute wait. And as soon as you walk in, if it's a dude, they'll say there's a king in the building. If there's a woman, because you can't eat in there, everything is to go. And as soon as you come up to the menu, you'll be like, is this your first time? You'll be like, yeah, first time here. We got a virgin in the building. all the sandwiches are, they got the menage a trois, the fussy hussy, the
stinky
menage a trois. Fellas, I'm trying to
say that twice now. What's going on with you?
Fellas, when you get down here, I'm telling you, and when I'm telling you they're fired,
we're going to pack up the plantation and come visit you.
And nobody believes me. Nobody believes it. Because, man, I need meat. Listen to me. I used to tell my wife, and I truly meant this, I would get physically ill if you tried to give me a meal that didn't have meat in it. Even for breakfast. I couldn't eat just pancakes for breakfast. I can tell you. And she would like, Michael, no, you're not. Yes, Michael is. If I didn't have meat, I need sausage, bacon, something. I need to have meat. If I didn't have meat, So I said, all right, I'll try this spot. I'm like, I'll try this. And at first he was like, all right, just get one burger and I'll try a bite of yours. Shit. As soon as I bit hers, I went and stood my ass in that 45-minute line, Jack. Yes, believe that. Yeah.
So what did you have on that burger? I need to know.
I need to know.
Cheese, which is vegan cheese, melts. The bacon, vegan bacon, whichever, they got crispy and it was good. I'm gonna bring you guys this too when I come up in July. They have a dust, their seasoning dust. It's called slut dust. It's like they're all seasoning, and it says right on there, best for veggies and potatoes, not meat.
I had some of that dust before. I was sprinkling it around the school,
not meat.
Cool.
I'm like, man, I'm trying this on meat. Like Lowry's, I'm putting it on meat. It was terrible on meat. But on the veggies, fellas, slut dust. Believe that.
Yes. Hey, Mikey, what's your favorite veggie? Like, if you can have one veggie.
Broccoli.
I don't blow you up.
No, I love it. And here's the crazy part. I used to hate broccoli. My mom got me to eat it by putting extra garlic with it. Like she would cut garlic up and saute it up and then put it on. And that's the way I started. Now I love it.
You sure you ain't half Italian?
Yeah.
Man, come on. You know where I was raised. Come on. You know I do an Italian dish all day long, Jack.
Yeah.
All day long.
Hey, I saw a nice picture of your mom on Facebook. I gave her a shout out from Mother's Day.
I thought appreciate it. Yeah,
she looked great, man.
Yeah.
She looked great.
Still doing. People, when they see pictures of my mom or they see her live, it's hard to believe that she's 72.
Yeah,
it's hard to believe she's 72, man.
Hey,
yeah.
Hey, on a lighter note, for any of our jazz fans out there, we lost David Sanborn today.
I saw.
Oh,
great David Sanborn. Yes. Yes.
Great. Real quick, okay. Since you're Sheen, you got one jazz cat you can listen to. Well, first off, what's your favorite? Are you smooth jazz, acid jazz? All right. What are
I can tell you off the rip is Bob James easily.
Wow.
Because listen, so much of his music is hip hop. It's like, oh shoot, this is Run DMC. No, that was Bob James. And that's what took me to Bob James. I mean, come on. Even him and David Sanborn when they made Maputo, I think that's a great album. Maputo is an excellent album. But I'm Bob James all day.
Yeah, that's grown folks music. Where you sit, that's good. Where you sit back with your bottle of whiskey, 3-finger pour, get your cigar, and just sit back. We're doing grown folks things tonight, fellas. Yeah, I'm with it.
David Sanborn, man, rest in peace, brother.
Yeah, wow.
You told me Kenny G the other day.
Huh?
You told me Kenny G was your favorite the other day.
Kenny G has one of my favorite songs, but he never told you he's my favorrit. But he has one of my favorite songs.
Get down, though. Kenny G got down.
Yeah,
no, not that. That's which one
Chuck
is that?
Mangione.
I love Chuck. I love him too.
He's a Pittsburgher, isn't he?
Not that I know of.
Chuck's not from Pittsburgh.
I know George Benson is. I know the pianist Earl something. He's from there. We got a lot. We got a lot of guys from Pittsburgh that are in the jazz scene. But
doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
doesn't surprise me. Hey, fellas, we're working towards summer at a fast and furious pace. It's May 14th today. Our show finds itself at a crossroads with sports. There's so much stuff going on. You got playoff basketball, you got playoff hockey, which some crazy shit's happening in both. Baseball's reached the quarter point finally, and we're all well underway with the golf majors and football mini camps. We just had the rookie mini camps. We got OTAs coming up. Sometimes I think I'm swimming with all the stuff that we have to preoccupy myself with all the craziness of the world. Thank God from that perspective. Tonight, fellas, we're going to talk a little bit about boxing. We got a big match coming up on Saturday night. I'm actually really pumped for this fight. I was always, and I know we've had this conversation, but I was always a heavyweight fight kind of guy. You can see I'm sporting my Ali t-shirt. I just enjoy the heavyweight guys. Sometimes it's a little boring. I guess Mike Tyson, because we're the same age, and I was indoctrinated even harder into him.
Back then in heavyweights, it wasn't boring. That was was going at it.
Hey, he's talking about today's game is boring in heavyweight.
Yes, back then,
when we were coming up, if you were the heavyweight champ, you were considered the baddest man on the planet.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And now there are certain shows and certain guys I go back and forth with. Which was the better era? Some guys like the 70s heavyweights. I like the 80s heavyweights. You know what I mean? But it was definitely better than what we got now. Definitely better than we got now.
Holyfield gave up an ear to be part of that.
Yeah.
So
I like 80s, man.
You know, our show's going to roll pretty good tonight. We're going to do our spontaneous reactions, which I really, really like tonight. And then we've got David Druzynski, a boy Chops hooked us up with. He's an aficionado on boxing, and we're going to talk the Tyson Fury and the Oleksandr Usyk fight coming up on Saturday night. So let's kick this thing off right here, fellas. I'm pretty excited for tomorrow night. This is a good opportunity for us to get together too, outside of the realm of virtual and having Chops come visit. We can go somewhere. The NFL schedule is getting released tomorrow night. Okay.
Yeah.
Any particular matchups you're excited to see? Right out of the gates, I think the Ravens game is going to be a good game. Ravens and Chiefs.
I want to see if all the losses that they took, the Ravens, that is, as far as people leaving, see how that's going to play out. I mean, usually the Wizard up there, Wizard of Ozzy, he has guys waiting in the bushes to come on in and take some positions. So I want to see how that plays out. I'm excited for that one.
I'm interested in what the date is for the second Steelers-Ravens game, because weather's going to be a factor in that, because that'll be late in the season. So I'm interested in that one.
It's been the last game of the year the last few years. Yeah, and it's been down here in Baltimore because Vincent and I have gone.
And then I'm interested to see when the Steelers come here, because they come to Atlanta this year.
I'm thinking about that trip for us, fellas.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
NFC South. Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing that one. And of course, I want to see what they're doing, because they're playing Christmas Day. I like the Christmas Day, and they don't normally. That's a Wednesday, because basketball is hot. That's going to be head-to-head NBA, because that's always Christmas has always been, unless it was a Sunday. Christmas is always NBA Day.
Yeah, it is.
So now they're going head-to-head on that, and of course, I want to see. Of course, we know the Lions play on, because they signed that contract when the league first began.
Jared Goff.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see what other games are on Thanksgiving. So Steelers, when they come to here, the second game with the Ravens, and Thanksgiving and Christmas days.
You think that contract hurt or helped them?
Hurt. You talking about the Lions being the only that they? I hate it, because I think there could be some other teams that are playing. Now they're a better team now. They are a better team under Campbell, but I would have loved to have seen some other teams play on Thanksgiving. But now that we have 3 games, we are.
Hendon Hooker's never going to get on the field for them unless Goff gets hurt now, because Hendon Hooker's he's older. He's like 25, 26 already.
I asked that because if they put all that money into Goff, if they didn't put all that money into Goff, it could have freed up and helped them get some other pieces, I thought.
I'm not sure what else they need at this point.
They do need a pass rusher.
They do need. Didn't they draft one this year?
Hutchinson.
Fellas,
I'm saying opposite of Hutchinson.
But here's the thing. Here's why I got to give a little pushback on that. Of course, team can always use help, but I think position for position, I thought they were decent last year, real good. To me, it was Dan Campbell being hard-headed.
They should have had in that championship game. They were winning.
Dallas a couple weeks earlier. That to me was the issue. Now, of course, Shane Lake said they can use help in different spots without question.
So I'm going to tell you, if he doesn't make some of those boneheaded calls and they get to that championship game, they win that championship.
Man,
and they win that. They get to that Super Bowl. I like their chances.
They were in the championship against the Niners, right?
Yeah, but I like their chances in the Super Bowl. I do. Yeah. I feel like KC's going to take a slight dip this year, only because they got to build Worthy into their team, right? Xavier Worthy went there. And I don't know what's going to happen with Rashee Rice. This kid has gotten into 2 big incidents this offseason, but I also read that. Check this out. I don't know if you guys read this or anything. Rashee Rice, when he was at Texas A&M, TCU, where was he at? Remind me, fellas. I can't remember. Yeah. So when he was there, he was at a basketball game or something like that and took a gun and shot up somebody's car and got arrested for that. I mean, the guy had trouble going into the draft. That's why he went where he went.
Wow.
But they do all these background checks. They used to do the Wonderlic. They used to do all that stuff. Did they just not even think about it with him?
Well, sometimes your talent outweighs what you're going to get in trouble. Outweighs your trouble.
Yeah.
But when you start talking guns and stuff, that can't. I don't care what you can do. That don't outweigh that. I mean, now if you getting speeding tickets or
things up, yeah.
If you know stupid things like that, then your talent can outweigh that. But guns and touching women and doing things like that, nah.
But see, here's the thing.
Yeah.
With they stopped the Wonderlic test for whatever reason, because that to me, I just never understood why they did that anyway. Can you play football or not?
Yeah, exactly.
The trouble issues are, and I'm a firm believer in, I take each case on its own merit, right? Now, do I say he shouldn't have done it? Yeah, because it didn't happen to me. But even when Joe Mixon, as a freshman, punched that girl in the face or she spit on him and called him the N-word, I might have beat up her boyfriend, and as I'm looking at her, that you did this to him because I might have done that, but I wouldn't hit her. However, my thing is, if you have an isolated incident for whatever it is, I might give you a pass. Now in the league, because you had one incident years ago and you straighten up your act. But when we have guys that were in college have multiple acts, what is the use of doing a background check on them? Because us who don't have nearly the resources that these NFL teams, we know about it, and that's what we know about. There's probably incidents that coach kept rap or the local police kept rap that we don't know about that the NFL teams know. So why even do these background checks and say we're investing money in you if you're going to sign a troubled guy anyway? And even Sheen, you talk about the speeding tickets. If you get multiple speeding tickets, it may not end up as bad as Ruggs, but you're going to end up looking at something like that because you were speeding when you had no money. Now you have money and you're going to buy better, faster vehicles. It's only going to get worse. So I'm either you're going to put merit into the background checks or not. Bottom line.
You got to.
I
was going to say, answering the original question, if you don't mind, there's a lot of attention on the rematch and revenge games. So you got the Niners playing the Super Bowl rematch against the Chiefs, the NFC rematch against the Lions. You got Bengals versus Chiefs, where it seems like Burrow owns that game.
Yeah.
He's 3-1 against Mahomes. And again, it's not against Mahomes, but
I hate when they say that, but I know what you mean.
The Harbaugh rematch, Ravens and Chargers, which would be interesting.
Okay, let me ask you guys something. They're starting off first week kickoff, opening night.
The 5th.
Chiefs and Ravens rematch as they say for the AFC Championship game. Do you guys look at it that way? Different guys have moved, different guys aren't there. Definitely the same shit is not on the line.
No, it's all promotion. But think about it. It's us having this conversation. We're diehard sports fans who chop it up, read. We talk about it all the time. We're texting each other nonstop about ridiculous things that happen in sports.
Yeah.
The average fan is like, oh, yeah, it's a rematch. It's a rematch.
Yeah.
No, they don't get it. They don't see it from that perspective. Plus, the NFL pushes it. That's why the NFL is making the almighty dollar over everybody. Wait till next year when they have an 18-game schedule and that shit goes till the middle of February and we're off the next day. Alcohol sales through the roof, parties through the roof. I mean, it's going to be crazy.
That's a great point, Chops. It makes me wonder. We talk about rivalries, how much the media and maybe the league builds that up. But then, you see these guys, they walk back to the huddle, talking each other, hitting each other on the head, opposite teams. Where back in the day, you wouldn't even associate.
Jersey swapping is what gets me these days.
Field saying prayers. You didn't do none of that stuff.
Jersey swapping is what gets me these days. That's what. Real quick, let me ask you guys this real quick.
Tops, can we swap jerseys when you come up?
Absolutely.
I want that one.
I don't know, brother. Yours might say half holy, half accountant. You got the accountant.
Half accountant.
You know what I mean? So we'll see. But let me ask you something. Do you guys believe the NFL cares about player safety? I understand it with the hits, but when you add an 18th game, you play on Sunday, then you play on Thursday. Now somebody's playing on Sunday, going to play on Wednesday on Christmas Day.
Listen, I don't know how that's going to play out.
18 games don't bother me, okay? Cut your preseason. I get it. I'm all right with that, all right? 18 games don't bother me. That's an extra fat paycheck for some of those guys. What bothers me is the Sunday to Thursday. That's what bothers me.
Yeah.
That's what bothers me. The traveling to Europe, then coming back and playing the next week, that bothers me for those guys. Like, that is tough. That is tough. I mean, at the end of the day, these guys are making buku cash, and they ain't going to fight it because they're making more money than we'll ever see together combined.
Yeah, man.
You know, unless our show takes off. We're still waiting for that one motherfucker to see our show and be like, hey, I'm going to use you for guys. You want to, you know, it's going to happen.
Hey, I was wondering, taking down some of those preseason games, you get like this false sense of who's good.
It happened to me last year with the Steelers.
At the beginning of the season. It's just like, are they good or is this just warm up for them?
I'll tell you what's going to happen, though. They're going to do more scrimmages. They're going to have to somehow they're going to have to evaluate these guys. I'm talking about it. No, they're going to go like Pittsburgh's going to go out to Philadelphia and scrimmage the Eagles, or the Eagles.
I meant inter practice. I meant
yeah. They're going to do more scrimmages. They're going to have to. You can't evaluate a guy in 2 games, and you can't possibly get dudes ready in 2 games.
How you cut it? Yeah.
Okay, but go to this question. Are they going live? Are they going live with second, third teamers or drafting? Because you don't want to put your starters out there in these if you're going scrimmages. You know what I mean?
You got to do what you got to do to make a team. By the time you get to that point, you know who your top 22 are, right? Yeah. You know who your punter is most likely. You know who your kicker is. So you know that shit. But do you actually know who's the third linebacker coming in, or maybe the fourth linebacker? That's where it gets a little sticky.
You got the communication, just them gelling. Yeah, that's what it's wild. The beginning, first 2, 3, 4 games for some of these guys who just don't mesh right away.
Right.
Yeah. Right. They've either sat out because they are the starters, or they're coming in new and they just haven't worked with that first team. It's going to be interesting.
Chops. Yeah. Our guy Dave Drew is here. You want to do this? You want to do this bio? Get the peoples ready.
Yeah, and you know what? I know he has a bio, but it's coming because he and I have been doing this for years, and I do it like I do his podcast when there's a big time match. However, they're big on all the Detroit sports. He's with the Peninsula Podcast. He has a partner, Justin, and they are doing well, and they give much love to us. And every time I'm on their show, he's asking about what's going on with us. But he is a big boxing aficionado, and I'm excited to have him on. And it is David Druzynski, and he goes by Drew. And check out his glasses. I call him the Harry Carries.
Either that or the Sam Rothsteins, right?
Hey, what's going on, Drew? How are you, man?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
We love having you here.
Yes.
Hey, we were just talking. Talking lines a little bit. If you didn't sign, well, first of all, how do you feel about the golf contract?
Well, it's expensive, certainly, and I certainly would like it in my bank account, no doubt. But when you think about put in perspective, Daniel Jones got $40 million a year for 4 years from the Giants. That kind of set the standard, right?
Yeah.
And to think that Jared Goff was going to get less than $50 million, what you were hoping, but realistically, $50 million was the number I had in mind as a fan. It's going to come out to 53 at the end of the day. Well, if he keeps playing the way he's playing, I don't think anybody's going to care, to be honest with you, because the pipeline's getting filled through the draft. So he's playing really well. So let's just, as Lions fans, we hope he's able to continue.
Drew, if you sit down, if you're the owner, do you sit down, Campbell, and you say, no more going for it on fourth down when you can cost us now?
Well, that's an interesting question. It's worked for the most part since he's been there. Now it came out of necessity, and then it kind of became the trademark. But if you think about it, I'm not sure I would necessarily do that yet. I know that the championship game, a lot of people were critical, but let's face it, if the ball hits me right in the chest in the numbers, I probably should catch it. And that happened, there were a couple drops there. So, you can quite, hindsight's 2020, but that's been their MO from day one with Coach Campbell, and I think they're going to stick with it. Now, let's face it, I think you're right. If it started to get out of hand, started costing them regular season games, they might say, let's dial it back a little bit and trust the defense. But now when you look at the defense, it's improved a lot. And if they can, if Arnold and Rakestraw are as advertised, that's going to help things out a little bit. And gambling like that isn't going to be as big of a deal because you're going to trust your defense more. So I personally wouldn't mess with the guy because all in all, he's doing very well. So let's keep it going.
He reminds us all, since we're all Steeler guys, of Bill Cowher.
I like that.
His fiery passion, his demeanor with his players. You know, he demands the best out of everybody on the field, whether it's his coaches or whether it's his players. And that's what sets a guy like that apart. You know, I love the guy like D'Amico Ryan down in Houston, because he's still got a deep connection with those guys. He's not that far removed from being that number 1 draft pick that was productive. His connection's different, but for Campbell, he was a backup tight end who paid close attention to everything going on the football field from every perspective, and now he's translated into making a good head coach of himself. So, hey, who are the Detroit Red Wings going to grab in free agency? There are some decent guys out there that can help them push up.
But they had a lot of young talent. I used to play with Detroit on PS5. They had a lot of young talent.
That was my team on Blades of Steel. That's when they started the one timer.
Yeah.
Wow, Blades.
You're talking about when they had Iserman.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what you're
talking about. Well, no, Nicky Lidstrom wasn't there yet, or was he?
Yeah, he was. He was there. Yep.
Okay.
Yes. Yo, that's a great question. A lot of people would like Patrick Kane back, although he's been very cryptic in his postseason press conferences and interviews. Now, you know, you love his offense. You know, he's an absolute liability on the defensive end. I mean, I'm not going to kid anybody. He is. But you take the good with the bad with him. Now, there's another name that's interesting is Steven Stamkos down in Tampa.
I read that's one of the 4 places he's very interested in going. At 34 years old, he's put together back-to-backs, pretty much healthy seasons, and he still had 81 points this year.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a 200-foot guy. He can play both ends of the rink, and yeah, you know, either way, I think we trust Brad Holmes here to do the right thing with the Lions. We definitely trust the Iser plan in Detroit. Although a lot of people are starting to get a little, I mean, it's been 5 years now. People are starting to get a little edgy, a little doubting a little bit. But let's face it, they've taken some strides. The pipeline's still pretty full. But I think, guys, when I've been watching the second round of the playoffs this year, I've noticed exactly what they're lacking. And number 1, they have to play better defense. That's an obvious one. But number 2, they have to be tough to play against. They skate fast, but they don't skate hard. They don't finish checks. If I'm the opposition, I'm going to run Dylan Larkin and Alex DeBrincat all day long, because who's going to stop me? Yeah,
100%. Hey, Drew, the one thing is, though, in terms of offense in the playoffs, where's Arteri Panarin? Arteri Panarin, whatever the hell you want to call him. Those guys disappear in the playoffs. It's the second, third, fourth line guys. Yeah. Their minutes catch up to that top line guys, because they're the guys going out there putting their body on the line. That's why you see Carolina back in the situation that they're in. It would not surprise me that gets tied up and we see a game 7.
Yeah, exactly. And again, you're talking about 2 teams that are tough to play against. They're obviously skilled, but yeah, you need that secondary and third line scoring, because to your point, they're going to take out the Panarins of the world. They're going to take out the Canes or the Larkins. Show us your second or third line guys can put the puck in the net, and you got to score ugly in the playoffs. Yeah, and I think that frustrates me most about the Red Wings in particular, is that every goal has to be picture perfect, tic-tac-toe passing. Man, just get it in the net.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just get it in the net.
Absolutely.
You guys have a great team in Pittsburgh. You have for a lot of years, and obviously Crosby and Malkin are great players, but they know when to put the puck on the net, and they don't screw around with it. They have a purpose, and that's what I think another thing that they're lacking a little bit. But the 2 things are getting tougher on defense and just being tougher to play against in general, and they'll get better.
You guys might have an opportunity to grab a guy like Noah Hannafin that will really help you once the season ends, because he was a rental player, and obviously that was just a bullshit thing that happened there, them getting Hannafin and who was the other big name they got? Anyway, I hate the rental agreement thing when a guy's on the LTIR. Sorry, Chops, I'm taking us down a rabbit hole, but I don't always get to talk to guys. But yeah, I love hockey. I think this is the best time of the year. I've actually paid, believe it or not, I don't want to tell these guys, but I've actually been paying attention to the NBA playoffs. I do like the fact Anthony Edwards is doing what he's doing. I like the fact that kid from the Knicks is doing what he's doing, and they're playing more of a complete game. in the Knicks. I'm a team guy. I'm not a LeBron guy, and I grew up a Lakers fan. LeBron and his son can go back to Cleveland or wherever they want to go. Get off my Lakers, please, and thank you. And take Durant with you. Harden might want a place over there too. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Man.
The big three is done.
I hear you. I'm just drying my tears over here in Detroit because we got the 5th pick overall again. So, we can't win for losing.
It's a bad draft this year, though.
It is.
3 of us live in DC. Imagine that shit. I mean, it's horrid here. And I don't know how or why every year we have to look at that ugliness here. There's just no reason for it because he loads up the Capitals. He's got the cash. Same guy owns them.
It's funny about the Wizards because at one time they had Chris Webber, Juwan Howard, and Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah. And they
on the same team.
Hey, the team that they just broke up with Bradley Beal and Porzingis and those guys, how are you bad? Like, how I don't get that. Like, I just don't get that. You had the guys. So, all right, listen, we're ready to rock and roll with some boxing. I'm very excited. For the first time in a long time, I know you and Chops really love boxing. I lost my fever for it years ago when my guy, Mike Tyson, kind of fell out of the limelight, just kind of like I lost my fever for paying $150 million to pitchers in baseball. But anyway, give us some boxing background on you. Share a little bit about you and why you're the boxing guy.
Well, I'm almost 50 years old, so I'm knocking on that door. And when you grew up in the Detroit area, the first athletes I knew were Billy Sims of the Lions and Thomas Hitman Hearns of the Kronk Boxing Gym.
Kronk's Gym.
Kronk Gym. Manuel Stewart, God rest him, but amazing trainer, great commentator too. And and at that time, right there, that's the 4 kings there. And Chops and I talk about that all the time, man. Hagler, Leonard, Hearns, and Duran, and just amazing fighters, amazing fights between them all. That really got me into it.
Yeah,
I'll admit in the late 90s, around the time when after Holyfield had beaten Tyson twice, the heavyweight division kind of got a little watered down, and things just weren't happening. And I was just getting intoxicated every night in college, so it just wasn't on my radar, right? And what got me into it again was I think it was 03-04 time frame. I happened to stumble on a Gotti Ward fight.
Cool.
And I was like, oh, here we go. This is what I was missing.
The trilogy.
And that's it. And it's never left. I try to watch as much as I can. And so I'm really excited about this one here. This is going to be a great fight Saturday.
Sheen, go ahead and ask him that next question.
Which one?
The one about Tyson Fury.
I'm messing with you. Can you tell us a little bit about Tyson Fury and why this fight is so important to him?
Yeah, the Gypsy King. He's an amazing story, really. I mean, I know Chops. We talked about this too. I mean, when he beat Vladimir Klitschko, you thought, wow, sky's the limit. And then he had a lot of personal issues and basically dropped out of the game for close to 2 years or whatever, and made his way back. He's undefeated. Got to give him his due. I'm glad we're finally seeing this fight. It's been avoided long enough. So hopefully, again, I'll believe it when they're in the ring face to face getting instructions, to be honest with you. Although I think it'll happen now, but I mean, so many delays, so much gamesmanship. Let's get in the ring. Settle it.
Did you watch the pre-fight conference between him and Usyk?
Not too much. I did see his dad headbutt a 17-year-old and get bloodied up for it, which shows the Fury cut tendency, which would certainly played a factor with Fury having the fight delayed for 3 months. He got cut in sparring, which that was an interesting situation. But I'll tell you what, seeing Fury right now, he's probably in the best shape I've ever seen him in. He looks amazing, and Usyk is always ready to fight. I think it's gonna be a hell of a fight.
It was just night and day, I thought. Fury just running his mouth, calling him sausage and rabbit and whatever those English terms mean in the boxing world. I don't know, but it was like, just get some new terms or just shut your mouth. And Usyk's like, he didn't say nothing. He was just sitting there chilling. It was really interesting to see the night and day for that conference. It'll be interesting to see the fight Saturday.
Oh yeah. Now, and we'll get into it more, whatever. All right. So he wins. Usyk, let's just not going for your let's say Usyk wins. What does this mean for him? Are you giving him the greatest would he be right now? Would you say he's a Hall of Famer? If he gets this win, is he an automatic Hall of Famer in boxing?
Ho. Cal Ripken's moving back there.
Yeah.
You can't have that. It's haunted.
That's my boo. She brought me a Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Okay,
Voodoo.
That's cool. I like that. I gotta get that on my show. Honestly, I do, and here's why. Number one, he'll be the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, defeating an undefeated heavyweight, the lineal champion. But also, he'll become only the second fighter in history to be the undisputed champion in two different weight classes under the 4 belts. And Neway's the other one. This would be the 10th time it happens. He'd only be the second guy to be in 2 weight classes. So you got to give a guy like that his due.
Would the other one be Roy Jones?
It's a new way, actually.
No, hold on real quick. You saw he fought what, Monday morning? Last Monday. Was it last Monday? New Way fought. He ended up getting a win.
Yeah.
Did you say he got dropped first time ever? Now, fellas, he's fought once in the United States once because he fights all of his others in Japan. I think he's 27-0. All of his fights, 26 of them have been in Japan. He did fight one in the States. But last Monday was the first time he ever got knocked down. And he's never even been knocked down. Now, of course, he got knocked down and came back then the next round and knocked the guy out. But it was a good fight, man. It was a good fight. And that's somebody you definitely should be in the ring. What is he, 125? 125?
Yeah.
Pound for pound, the number one boxer right now, pound for pound. So you got to – let me ask you this, Drew, real quick. He would have – if Usyk gets a win, yes, he beats Fury. If it is close – do they run it back before, or does it matter? If he gets to win, you're automatically saying he's a Hall of Famer because he does have a great career, growing up. He's been a heavyweight for what, 3-4 years now? So you can't even call him a blown up cruiserweight anymore because he's
beaten Anthony Joshua twice. He would have beaten Fury to be a two-time undisputed four belt champion in 2 weight classes. I mean, that's really hard to knock the guy. I mean, honestly, it's hard to dispute it. Hey, probably need a couple more wins. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Do we say, well, who did he fight? Do we do that or no? Do we just?
Well, true, Sheen. But everybody they put in front of him, whether it was because he came in from cruiser just fighting to Joshua, and he's wanted. He has wanted your boy Fury. Fury got the cut last time, but his team even said even if Fury, like they postponed it and they thought Fury might postpone this one. They had done it last time, and you knew this, Drew, even though Fury postponed, Usyk's camp was like, we're still in shape. Get us anybody to replace him. Get us anybody. And they're like, no, we can't charge the prices if it's not Fury. So Usyk stays in shape, and you have to – literally, like I said, you can't say his competition has been great, but he's fought everybody put in front of him. But when you look at his lineage, he's been a champion everywhere. Everywhere he has started, even it's impressive. His even amateur background. He's been a champ everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
how's this thing go down? When that bell rings, how's this thing going down? Is it going the distance? Or are they going to, is it going to be a TKO? What are we going to see?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm not sure I have the answer yet. I'll be honest with you. I think it's going to start slowly, in my opinion, because there's going to be a lot of gamesmanship initially. Who's gonna take the first chance? I think what's important for Fury is to establish his reach advantage is huge. I believe it's like 7 or 8 inch advantage, 6 inch height advantage. So yeah, I mean, he's got like cinder blocks for hands. So I mean, throw him early and often. He's a great boxer. He moves like a 6'4", 6'3" guy, which Usyk is. So I think if he establishes the jab, he's got to keep Usyk away from him. If Usyk's going to hurt him, it's going to be inside. If he gets inside, Usyk's a southpaw. That right eye of Fury, I don't know if you guys remember, we got cut in sparring over that right eye. But Otto Wallin a couple of years ago cut him very badly. Yep. And I would argue that if that had been against Deontay Wilder, that fight stopped. Because it was Otto Wallin, they're probably like, dude, you gotta hold in there. You cannot let that cut get worse. I mean, it was a nasty cut. Yeah. I think based on that, now he won a decision and he earned it, but at the end of the day, that was a nasty cut. So he seems very susceptible to be cut there. That parlays right into that left cross and left hook by Usyk. So I think he's got to go after him in that respect. Fury, though, he's got a stick and move. He's gonna do a lot of holding, I think, when Usyk gets inside, and he will get inside because he's deceptively fast. So I don't know. I think it's gonna go to the distance. I can't say that either guy's gonna. I think they're capable of. I think Fury's capable of knocking out Usyk. It's tough. I mean, we've seen Fury go down, but it's been at the hands of Deontay Wilder or
his chin is phenomenal. Yeah, his chin is phenomenal. But don't forget, Drew, when he first came to Top Rank Boxing, as in Fury, he said, "Don't bring me small opponents." Fury always has had trouble with smaller opponents. Usyk is significantly smaller. Yeah. Usyk likes, as you said, likes to get inside, likes to make it dirty. So, but now he's never had anybody as big as Fury lay on him. Fury's going to lay on him if he comes inside. You know what I mean? But we've also seen is Usyk likes to box inside and fight inside and make it dirty. What do they call them? Low blows or body blows. Usyk has been hurt by a couple or stunned, you can see, by the body shots. And I think the body shots from Fury are going to play big. So I'm interested to see because, again, on the one hand, Fury wants to keep that jab. But once Usyk gets inside, is he going to lay on him? Will your weight be an advantage on that? Because by fight time, he could be what? 50, 60 pounds heavier than Usyk by fight time? You know what I mean? Even though there's no weight limit in heavyweight, he wants to come in great, but he could be easily 50, 60 pounds heavier than Usyk. I want to see how Usyk handles that. He's never had a bigger guy like that lay on him. You know what I mean? So I'm interested to see how that plays out.
You think they dragged this thing out, though, so Fury could lose some weight and get himself really in tip-top shape so he doesn't look like an ass? Because let's face it, when you watch Fury, I enjoy watching heavyweight boxers. I'm not going to lie to you, okay? I like the game. I feel like it's more gamesmanship. I've always felt that way. But he never looks in shape because of how big he is.
No, he's always flabby in the middle, soft in the middle.
Yeah, but do you think this is it? Is this what dragged this thing out?
Well, real quick, Joe, and you can answer this. Well, it's hard to say that's what dragged it out. However, when he got that cut, which Drew, you and I talked about it, it was an elbow. Why would his sparring opponent, his sparring partner you're paying, throw an elbow, which was iffy to me, which I thought he was trying to get out of it. But he caught a lot of flack and a lot from Usyk. You're soft and calling him all kind of names, whatever have you. So I think he might have been trying to get out of it to postpone it months down the road. What have we been? What is going on 3-4 years or a while? But we've been expecting to see it. You know what I mean? So, and I think once he took that, and then he saw how Joshua dismantled Ngannou, I think he realized I got to take this serious. I got to take this serious. So we'll see. I think that's what I'm thinking.
I think you're right. What struck me as odd, number one, to your point, the elbow in sparring was odd. His lack of a reaction was even more telling to me. I'm like, you didn't even turn around and say, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah,
or go after the guy. Nothing. So I found that very strange. I'll say this: whatever happened, why it happened, he is in phenomenal shape right now. This is the first time I haven't seen him really that soft in the middle. He's actually showing some abs, believe it or not.
So am I.
You're showing abs for a different reason, brother. You got peanut butter abs.
He looks ready, though. He definitely looks ready.
He does.
Yeah. Hey, Drew, I want to ask, do you think this match is significant enough to put heavyweight boxing, make it relevant again?
Wow, that's a good one. I'm going to say no. And the reason I say that is because as great of a fighter as Usyk is, and I really feel he is, he's just not a household name here.
No.
Right.
Tyson Fury, as great as he is, there's been always the delays with this fight. There was the 1.5-2 year hiatus. He's fought and beaten great fighters, no question. I think Fury himself, I think what hurts the division in general is Deontay Wilder took a bad loss. Joshua has taken a couple losses, 3 losses. I would say the Ruiz loss was really harmful to his career.
And the way he lost to Usyk, both losses to the Usyk were tough.
Absolutely.
It's a lack, like to your point, Tizzle, it's a lack of fighters in that division. That's why the smaller guys, the smaller divisions are taking over. the smaller division, because there's your top 10 are phenomenal. And like what, from 125 to 168, they're, pretty much top 5 to 7 in all those divisions are phenomenal. You don't have that in the heavyweight.
125, that's two of me. That's me fighting twice. That's me fighting each other.
Hey, Drew, I got a question. What's next for the winner and what's next for the loser? Somebody has to lose. So what do you think? If the winner is Fury, what's next for him?
Ooh, I think you flip a coin there. It could be either a huge payday with a winner against potentially a Wilder Joshua fight, which would be nice to have those two fight at least, but it could be retirement.
Okay.
It could be retirement. I mean, he's not getting any younger. He'll be the undisputed champion. I mean, to go out undefeated, I think he'll be 38-0 if he wins, I believe. So I don't know. I think if the money's right, he'll dance, but it's got to be the right opponent for the right money. And I'm not sure there's another opponent out there after Usyk that will draw that money. I'm just not sure.
All right.
Well, as you mentioned, Wilder and Joshua, the only way I see that going.
Yeah, I don't want to see those.
We don't want to see Wilder again. He's beat him. Even when they gave him a draw, he beat Wilder the first time. I had Wilder losing the first time. So so he's beat Wilder 3 times. If Joshua
don't want to see him either.
Puts on, but it depends what Joshua you get. If you get to Joshua to beat Ngannou, and I say that yes, Ngannou wasn't a boxer, but he knocked Ngannou smooth out. He was crisp, everything. So if Joshua fights Wilder and he's crisp and embarrasses him, knocks him out, and puts on a true boxing display, because Wilder only has that overhand right, and he throws the bow and arrow punch. So Wilder really shouldn't be in contention with anyone anymore. So if Joshua wins and in spectacular fashion, I bet that could be a moneymaker. But other than that, you got who else in the heavyweight division is worth Fury's time if he beats and dismantles Usyk?
I mean, I like Big Baby. I like Jared Anderson, even though his last fight got a lot of flack, but I still like him a lot. But he's got a couple more years still before he would be.
He's ready. Before he's ready, yeah.
Now Joseph Parker's a guy, but again, that's not going to draw big money. But he's a good fighter.
And Zhang, who's that? Zhang that just beat Wilder.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't look perfect. That's what I'm saying, Dream. There's no names in the heavyweight division, so that's why we don't think it can put it back on the map. And then if he, as in Fury, does retire, who's taking his belts? Right. And say Usyk gets his belts, then we're in the same rotation.
Right.
Joshua, Wilder, is Ruiz 100%. Coming back? Is Parker going to get his? You know what I mean? Which leads
me to another question for Drew. What's your favorite era in heavyweights? 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000? Well, I know it can't be 2000.
No, it won't be that. It's got to be, and it's slightly before my time, but I always got to tip my hat to the 70s. I mean, Ali, Frazier, Foreman,
Norton,
Cavers.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
That's classic stuff right there.
Yes.
Yeah, it does. To me, it doesn't compare. And then when there was
he wears his Ali shirt.
It's great. I mean, once Ali retired, the Four Kings really. I mean, it kept boxing really at the peak because they were so good, but they were all welterweights and middleweights basically. So then once they were nearing the end of their run, out comes this guy named Mike Tyson. So. Yeah. Everything was going really well for boxing until the mid to late 90s when Tyson kind of got out of the scene, like you guys were saying. And then all of a sudden there was a lull. It was the Klitschko's holding the belts and who was going to challenge them.
Yeah. Right. Yep. 100%. But hey, Drew, you remember, I'm sorry, fellas, if I cut you off, but I'm going to finish my question. Yeah. Hey, do you remember back in the day, because we talked about this, might have been last show or the show before, when it used to be primetime boxing at 8, 9 o'clock at night. What two guys do we need to stick on TV and have another Thriller in Manila to bring back boxing? Because that really is what is going to trigger boxing again.
Man, a couple of years ago, I would have, or last year or whatever it was, Spence Crawford was definitely a big time fight. That would have probably been a candidate. Now, I don't know. Chops, what do you think?
Well, think about it though. Last week, We had which Loma and Kambosos could have been a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when that was on ESPN. Next week we got Navarrete. He's nice. He could be, but the ESPN is trying to do it. However, they're smaller weights. And if you're not a true boxing fan, people aren't putting a lot of name in the smaller weights. But those fights are phenomenal, fellas. They really are. This, to me, boxing right now is being saved by the smaller weights, and they are putting on significantly better shows than the heavyweights. You know, and the crazy part about it is, you know, like, not to jump ahead, but even with the undercard, there's only one fight on the undercard that's even worth mentioning. You know what I mean?
We're going to get to that. Yeah.
You know, but honestly, if you guys start watching ESPN Plus, there's one coming on this week, Navarrete. He's another smaller guy. But fellas, when he brings it, it's going to be a good one.
You think a lot of the glory and beauty of boxing has been taken away because of MMA?
I was going to say that.
I would agree with that. Because you're seeing the best fight the best all the time. You know, not easy to have a perfect record in MMA because you're fighting the best guys and you're fighting frequently. You know, think about this. Back in the day, Sugar Ray Robinson would fight somebody as a tune-up 8 days before he'd fight Jake LaMotta again.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know, it ain't. I mean, it's a total different ballgame. But yeah, MMA definitely took a lot of steam away from boxing. I want to answer your question though. I was thinking while we were talking a little bit. I think at a catch weight, if you got Bud Crawford and Canelo Alvarez in the ring, that one would. But I don't know what that catch weight would be.
That's the trick. Right. Canelo. What Canelo? What did he just fight? 158 or 168 or
168? I think
against Munguia, which was a good fight, which also is helping bring.
Yes.
Crawford's fighting at 47. Now I understand he balloons up. So what would you do? What catch weight? I'd like to see what catch weight could Canelo come down to. He's not old, but in boxing years, what is he, 33, 34? It's getting up there in boxing years. Yeah. So I don't know what kind of cut he could make. That would be the tricky part on what. And once Crawford moves up, say you catch weight at 155, 157, hypothetically, Canelo still has that power. Crawford is a sharpshooter with his boxing, and that's going to be boxing like, you know, Canelo hasn't seen in a while, but he's coming straight forward. That would be a good one. Just have to catch the weight is what they'd have to agree on.
Yeah,
it's just all going to come down to the fact that it's marketed the right way. Is that what it's going to take?
I'll say Dana White's a hell of a marketer and promoter. Yeah. We need someone like that.
You know what though? Dana White, because he makes you, even when you come into UFC, if you're pretty well known, like Brock Lesnar from wrestling, other these guys from wrestling, he doesn't give you BS tune-up fights. You're fighting a well-known name, and it may not even be somebody in the top 10, but it's somebody in the top 15 that you know. And the reason that it's taken the spark away, or was taking the spark away from boxing, like you said, making us wait too long. This is the third time. This is the third time that Fury and Usyk were supposed to do it, where Dana White is like, if you don't defend your title, we'll strip you and move on. You know what I mean? So, but like I said, fellas, boxing is definitely coming back. You figure in the last 2 weeks, Drew, we've had Inoue fight, good fight. Munguia and Canelo, great fight. We've got Fury. We had Kambosos and Loma. Now we got Navarrete coming up. So boxing is doing its thing, man. It's doing its thing.
I don't know if this is the last question, but I have another one. Okay. Greatest pound for pound, Drew. I want to hear who. I just asked someone that, and they gave me their. And this guy asked as a boxer. I want to hear what you say.
The greatest pound per pound. Well, I think I mentioned him. I got to go with Sugar Ray Robinson, just because of the volume of work and just how great he was. And
that's what he said.
He also fought. I mean, he fought at light heavyweight, even. Amazing. Anywhere from welterweight. I mean, that's Tommy Hearns type stuff there. I mean, honestly,
right.
From welterweight to light heavyweight. But yeah, amazing fighter. And I never saw him live. You know, I never did. But I gotta give him his due.
Okay, that's what
Sugar Ray Robinson literally once won a round in a fight and he didn't throw a punch. He literally won a round in a fight by just his defense and not getting hit without ever actually throwing a punch.
He was a great
interesting strategy.
At that point, though, you know, you had guys like, well, at a different point, you had Sugar Ray Leonard, you had Thomas Hearns, you had, you know, Roberto Duran, you had dudes like that. Those guys could have brought the sport back today.
Yes.
They could have. And that's why I'm looking, you know, that's why I keep going to that question. You know, I want to see boxing come back. I loved it for the longest time.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you know, I feel like ESPN is really, in so many ways, because they show all these sports and not everybody gets ESPN, it hurts some of these other sports. You know, when I want to watch a sport like boxing, I can turn it on Friday night and watch it when I get done watching a high school football game. But I want to watch it Saturday night at 9 o'clock on my TV. I don't want to pay $100 to watch it, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't. I want to watch it. I love it.
I can say when Larry Holmes was the champ, it seemed like he was fighting every week on ABC, like every week. I know it wasn't every week, but it just seemed like every week Larry was on fighting on ABC.
Yeah. But now, though, fellas, before, like, we all watch it, we study, but like Drew and I, we come from that area where you said to be the champ, you got to beat the champ.
Exactly.
So guys were fighting that you say you're the best, I say I'm the best.
Exactly.
Let's get in the ring. Now teams are taking their fighter. I'm not saying they're giving them tomato cans, but they're giving guys that can Drew or Dream that are basically you can keep your 0, no losses, which you're 17-0, you're 19-0 with 14 knockouts, but you haven't fought anybody. Yeah, but just like we were talking about Munguia. Munguia was my guy. I loved Jaime Munguia. 27 years old. What was he? 34-0 with like 30 knockouts, 28 knockouts, something crazy like that. But hadn't fought any real competition. And it was like, all right, next fight, he's fighting a good guy. All right, all right, next fight. And that was the issue, you know. That's why that fight could have drawn, and it was a hell of a fight. On Cinco de Mayo, it was a hell of a fight.
It was.
But it couldn't draw enough buys or enough attention like it should have because he just wasn't fighting the household names and getting his name out there. And that's what a lot of these cats are doing. I want to keep my 0. I'll push this down the road. I don't want to fight this guy. Exactly.
All money, man.
Mm-hmm. Drew, do you think that's because of money, though? Because, you know, back then the purse was different. Now the purse is like, okay, it's a hell of a lot of money for the winner and a hell of a lot of money for the loser. It's like making a simile between football. When Alabama plays, like, you know, Appalachian State, they know they're going to blow them the hell out of water, but Appalachian State's going to get a shit ton of money.
Yep.
I think to that, I mean, I don't want to answer for Drew, but I think to that, it's the longer I have the belt, the more money I can make. So I can fight you, Mark, for, you know, for seven or whatever, $7 million, or I can fight Sizzle for 5. I can keep fighting, you know, keep making these little bits of money. It's a lot of money in a sense, but yeah, to keep the belt is where the money is. You lose the belt.
But even guys that are up and coming that don't have the belt, they want to try to get a title shot without actually putting anything on the line. Where before you had guys like, wow, these guys are both in the top 10 and they're fighting pretty young, which is going to knock them out. Where they don't do that in the UFC, you have top 10 guys fighting each other that, you know, there's nothing but a lot. When you lose it, whoever loses, they're losing a lot more than just this fight. They're getting knocked down the ring. Where in boxing, you're not having these young cats face young lions and all that like they should, you know. So,
you know, the pay-per-view dynamic is definitely a big thing. It's been around for years now. I mean, so that's not a surprise. But there's so much more in terms of revenue now, and it's amazing. It's money beyond my scope. I mean, think about what the Mayweather-McGregor fight raked in. I think Mayweather got 300 million and McGregor got 100 million off the hop. That wasn't including the pay-per-view dollars. So yeah, I mean, it's what's amazing. Like even a guy like Bud Crawford. I mean, he and a Triple G come to mind right away because they were avoided because it was they were very good fighters, and they had to keep, you know, paying. They kept winning, but they were fighting whoever was in front of them. But the big names wouldn't fight them, and finally they did. I mean, hell, Crawford had to take less money just to get
Spence.
Yeah, just to get Spence in the ring, and now they beat him. Well, now he's going to get paid, but now who's going to?
Who wants it? Who wants it? Yeah, because he embarrassed him. Oh, yeah, but also, you know what? Like you talked about Conor, and I'm an MMA guy. I love boxing too. You know, I had the full big library of boxers, but also an MMA guy. To me, it is an embarrassment to boxing when MMA guys go in there. And Drew, I hit you up when they fought. What happened to Ngannou is what should happen to every MMA guy that gets in the ring with a boxer. To think that you can get into the ring with a boxer after training 6-8 months, that you deserve what happened to Ngannou. That's what should happen. And when like we're seeing when Conor got into the ring with Mayweather, you're telling he's pound for pound the best. I get that. The fact that he even went 10 and he got tired, McGregor got tired. That was embarrassing to me to boxing. That was embarrassing. It should have been. But, you know, the boxing fans today aren't like they were years and years ago.
Drew, last question for you.
Sure.
What undercard match do we need to tune into?
Yeah, good question. I mean, and it's tough because there's a lot of unknowns on this undercard. I'll be honest with you, man. I had to do some research, admittedly. But the co-main event underneath the Apatia and Bridas fight is for the IBF Cruiserweight Championship. And these guys fought before, actually. Apatia won by unanimous decision. It was a close fight. I didn't see it, but the cards were 116, 112 on two of the cards and 115, 113. So, and Bridas is 28-2 himself, and Apatia is undefeated with 24-0 and 19 knockouts. So that's going to be a big one. And the other one that caught my eye, at least, is Sergey Kovalev.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
He hasn't fought since March of 22. He's 41.
Wow.
I don't know.
But here's the thing. I was same thing, Drew. Those ones, and I'm more interested in the Kovalev fight, but it's with the history that he has and nostalgia of Kovalev, because like I said, he's 41. He hasn't fought in 2 years.
Yeah.
Yo, and Safar Robin, he's a killer. He's tough. If Kovalev doesn't get knocked out, I'm going Kovalev to be knocked out in the 8th. If Kovalev doesn't get knocked out by 8, I'll be extremely surprised. This young cat is hungry. He's faster. He brings power. Kovalev, 2 years out of the ring, and you're coming back for this cat, it's got to be the payday. It's got to be the payday. Has to be.
It's a total opposite of podcasting, because it's us old dogs who really want to make a name for ourselves, and all them young bucks who got all that social media shit going on. We're bringing the A game in the podcasting world.
Yeah, man. Without question.
Hey, Drew, thanks for joining us, man. That was good stuff. I'm looking forward to this fight. We got to bring you back on for the next big thing. Good luck with the show. Tell everybody where they can find you, please.
Yeah, absolutely. We're the Sports Peninsula Podcast. We're on YouTube exclusively right now. We're looking to upgrade our platform a bit and get a website going. We were audio exclusively for a long time. We were everywhere. We were on Apple, Amazon, you name it. My partner, Coach Shield, he's a great football guy. He really knows his stuff. And Detroit's finest Justin Miracle, we got him doing boxing with me and Chops. And then we got Uper Brad Harris, and he worked for the Lions for a long time. He's got a lot of experience. I actually interned with the Lions myself for a couple of years, so we can say we have marketing experience because we did it. But it's great. Yeah, we're having a lot of fun with it, guys. And yeah, we can't. We just keep pushing. So love to have you guys on ours as well, man. Let's get everyone out there, man. Let's get more people seeing us.
Just hit us up, my man. Just hit us up.
Appreciate you all, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Take care.
You too.
All right, Drew. Appreciate everything, brother.
Take care, guys. Take care, guys. All right.
Hey, fellas, good stuff. I'm looking forward to the fight Saturday night. Yeah, I don't know where you're watching it at, but drunk or not, I plan on being in my living room going streameast.co and
can't beat it.
Like
I plan on watching it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited for this one. I might even let Vincent stay up to watch this one. He needs to
you got to.
He needs to understand some boxing. Yeah, I got to get his mind ready for some serious shit.
You made a comment. I have a question. You said you think Ngannou did not handle his own against Fury?
No. What happened with him in Joshua? Joshua smooth knocked him out in third round. I mean, knocked him cold out. That's what should happen every time an MMA guy gets into the ring.
I thought he handled Fury.
Oh yeah, I thought he won that fight. I thought he won that fight. I thought he won it. And I think they gave it to Fury because if we have an MMA guy come in and beat the heavyweight champ, regardless of what everybody else thought, but actually put it on paper that he beat the heavyweight champ, it would have been an ugly look for boxing. Ugly look.
Yeah.
Ugly. But it is. It's going to be because Usyk has waited so long. Fury's now going at him. Fury's actually getting in shape.
He is.
It's going to be.
He's going at him. He's like, all right, you did all your talking. You did what you needed to do.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
And like Drew said, I see it going a distance. If Usyk knocks out Fury's been dropped a few times. You saw the hell. It looked like Wilder hit him with a sledgehammer. I thought he died in the ring. Literally, when he hit him, dropped, laid there, and just got right back up and kept fighting. He's hard-headed, man. You can't knock Fury out. You can't knock him out. So it'll definitely be a good one. If you don't watch too many fights, watch this one.
He's a big boy.
True.
He's a big boy. They probably won't ring the bell until about 11 o'clock at night, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? They're fighting. I'd have to look to be exactly sure, but it probably will be late. But they don't fight in Vegas. They're in Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
Yeah. Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Which is also interesting to me because a lot of money is probably came up front for that fight.
Yes, absolutely. But the Saudis are coming on, man. They're having a lot more big fights. As a matter of fact, like we were just talking, like Loma and Kambosos, they fought in Australia, but last Saturday night, it was Sunday morning, 10 a.m. their time. But they did that, so it will be prime time here because the United States, everybody still wants to make that money in the States with their boxing.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Without question.
Hey, one question I missed, and I'm going to rewind just a little bit. We are at the quarter point of baseball, and I don't know. I get deeply submerged in baseball. It's old school. It's apple pie, hot dogs, and baseball is the way I was raised, basically. If the playing field was equal, man, and they all were playing today, who excels most on the baseball field? And I'm going to give you some names, okay? Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, Jackie Robinson, Ken Griffey Jr., Ichiro, or Shohei Ohtani?
The Griff for me.
Yeah. Honestly, I loved him, but Jackie Robinson, as we all know, Jackie Robinson wasn't the one that broke the color barrier because he had the best talent. It was well documented. They thought he broke the color barrier because he could deal, they felt, with his tone, his demeanor, he could best deal with the racism. Because we knew Satchel Paige, Josh, we knew they were better players. I got to go with your boy, like the kid. That's my guy.
Yeah.
We're doing a on the 18th
from those. That's
on the 18th of June, we're doing a all black athlete show, and we're really gonna hone in on baseball a lot. Rasheen's going to talk a lot about what's going on in his life, his foundation, and things like that. So I really want to do that. It's very important to me, and I know it's important to Sheen's family, his dad, and I think people will find it very interesting to do. Out of these guys, all these guys I just said,
I'm going with Griffey, baby.
I think he can translate throughout the years. I do. I agree. 100%.
Phyllis, you think about it. And again, we don't know if guys are juicing now, whatever, but we know a lot of pitchers were when he was coming up. And guys throwing heavy, they're coming with all kind of stuff. Nowadays, guys don't pitch as many innings. What are it, 5, and they starters out and they got middle relievers. So they're coming at Griffey with basic and all these batters with their best stuff every time they see him, because I'm only going to be in 5 innings. You know what I'm saying? So having said that, you're coming to Griffey with whatever your best pitch is, and he's going to have done his homework, which would have been a fastball, curve splitter, whatever you throw best. You're going to come at that Griffey because you don't have as many chances to see him. I think he studies it, and I think he takes a lot of catchy art. I'd like to see Tony Gwynn too nowadays. Tony Gwynn.
There's nobody that plays like Tony Gwynn or Rod Carew.
Hell of a hitter.
Rod Carew. Rod Carew's, he hung that bat down here. He swung it level. There was no doubt about it. Rod Carew was swinging level. I think the game is so different today. I had a guy on the show maybe 3 years ago, and he talked about these guys are taught to swing for the fences. The whole approach at the plate is to swing for power, because power brings money, right? And that's how they're taught to swing.
And that translates to one of the clips that we were talking about. So one of you guys sent this, and I saw before you sent it about Jordan's mentality on the 3-point line. That wasn't his game, and his lower percentages. And that's the same thing with swinging for the fences. It's lower percentages. You're not going to have everybody being able to do it. And if that's your approach to the game, okay, but you're going to have probably better success if you can spray hit like Tony Gwynn. Or
I'm going to ask you that, fellas. What impresses you more, like a guy that's continual home run hitter but has 100 couple whatever, or someone like Tony Gwynn who literally never had more than 40 strikeouts in a year? Fellas, think about the cats he was going against. Never more than 40 strikeouts in a year. fellas, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm going with the hitting.
The hit.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd rather watch Tony Gwynn. I'd rather see a guy get, last night for the Pirates, we're all homers, we know that. For the Pirates last night, Brian Reynolds had 5 hits, and that was really enjoyable to watch him. 3 of them were singles. Who gives a shit? He was on base. He hit the ball.
Exactly.
And the same thing.
Exactly.
I want to see guys on base. I want to see contact with the ball.
Manufactured run.
Think about it like this. You got a guy in scoring position. You're down 1 run. You want someone who's going to go up there who is going to swing for the fences, or who has a higher percentage of getting a hit and scoring that guy from second or third.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah, I'm right there. Sizzle, you got a quizzle for us this week?
I got a quizzle for you sausages. Tonight, WNBA kicked off, right? And Caitlin Clark, first pick in the draft, and projected to be, first game, she's projected to win the MVP, right? They're already saying it. I don't even know how you do that. But anyway, the question is, who was the first person to ever do that in WNBA?
First pick
and won the MVP in their rookie year.
Lisa Leslie.
Nope.
Candace Parker.
Yes, sir. 2008.
Candace Parker.
Yep.
Man, she just got hooked up. She runs what the Nike shoe division or something.
Los Angeles Sharks.
Yeah. Fella, let me ask you this: with all the hoopla that has been around the WNBA, keep it a buck, keep straight up and down like 6 o'clock. Has any of you watched any WNBA?
No preseason game, but I want to see Chicago play. I'll watch Chicago play at least one game, at least half a game. I want to see Clark. I want to see her play. I want to see half a game. If it captivates me, then maybe I'll watch more. But, there's been so much, and we've talked about it. There's been so much talked about with women's basketball in the leap it made this year with this group of young ladies coming out at NCAA. I want to see what it's all about.
They're talking about when Indiana comes to DC, they're taking the game from where they normally play to, I don't even know what it's called anymore, Verizon Center or whatever, where the Caps and the Wizards play, because they've already sold out and they need a bigger venue. So that'd be neat to go see that.
Do you guys know, because I don't watch enough of it. Do you know if they have a flopping problem in the WNBA like they do the NBA?
They don't.
No.
Because
I don't know how many games they play. Do they have load management in the WNBA like they do the NBA?
What is this new word, load management? Can you define it for me? I know what the definition is.
I know what they do, and I know what it is. I don't know. You travel in the best of accommodations. You stay in the best hotels. You have medicine that is second to none. I mean, I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Here, let me ask you this question. They had load management when Magic Johnson played, right? Or he wouldn't still be alive.
I don't know what he's got. I don't know what Magic Johnson got.
But isn't that the bottom line? I mean, this man was apparently had HIV, and it's how many years later?
Yeah,
he had some sort of management.
Hey,
something.
Before we end it, there's a report out that the Christmas game is Steelers Chiefs. One of the games.
Ooh.
That's a report out right
That'll
now.
be here. No, Steelers Chiefs. Oh man, I was thinking Steelers Falcons. That'll be a good one if my Steelers play. Where will it? Does it say where it'll be?
Arrowhead.
I'll tell you.
We play home. We play the Chiefs in Pittsburgh this year.
I'll tell you where I'll be, on a cruise ship, because I'm going.
Oh, you going to cruise for?
I'll be sitting in a bar on a cruise ship someplace, somewhere, watching that game.
Now, how do you do that, man? Since you have kids who still like gifts, whatever. So
my kids are old, dude. My kids are old.
But still, whether it's the Jordans, whether it's a new glove, Vincent still plays sports. Like, do you do it before they leave? Do you do it on the boat? Do you when you come back?
Yeah, we're doing it on the 21st. We're going to do the family stuff. And then only my daughter, Jenna, and her boyfriend are going with us. So it's me, Terry, Vince, Jenna, and her boyfriend, Tyler.
We had a house meeting this Christmas. My kids want to go away. They don't want it. They said the hell with the gifts. They rather go.
Sizzle can't do it, man. I keep telling Sizzle, you gotta get out of Dodge for Christmas.
Yeah.
Stop living that 1978 shit.
It ain't like being on a cruise, but now being down here in Georgia and Atlanta, and I go out on Christmas Day and I'm wearing shorts and I got the grill sparked up, I can't do Christmas back home in PA. It kills me now. And my folks, we'll do 1 year down there and then come up here so we can have the family at the house. I'm like, geez, I want to come in, say hello to everybody, and get back. I understand we were born and raised in that, but I don't know how we did it. I loved Christmas now. And Mark, I can just imagine Christmas Day, you get up and you're looking at the blue water. I'll go down at the buffet at the man.
My man, we'll go fishing in the morning and we'll be on the beach in the afternoon.
Man,
that's what it'll be. Well, probably not this Christmas since the Steelers are apparently playing. It'll be a little different for me. But
where's the crew? Where are you heading? Where's the crew?
So we're going to. I'd have to ask Terry. I know part of it's Aruba, and she and I are very excited because we did our honeymoon in Aruba. So we're excited to go back.
I got you.
Yep. So Sheen, you got anything for us today?
Hey, yeah. We all play sports, right? Do we all play football? We all play football.
Sizzle played for a year, baby.
Yeah.
He was a corner.
They wouldn't let me play anymore. I was hurting people.
Sizzle Island.
Sizzle Island, baby. Where all the touchdowns were scored.
Sizz Island.
Hey, did we have a song before we went out that y'all like to listen to, or that got you pumped up?
Welcome to the jungle.
Welcome to the jungle. Okay, that's it. Maradei, you too?
No, hell no.
Oh, okay.
Dick Dills didn't let no music go on in the locker room.
Oh, no, wow.
No. Hell no.
You could have
Chops, you play for Dickie D?
What's that?
You play for Dick?
Yes. Yeah, man.
You guys couldn't have on headphones?
No, there was no such things. I mean, there's those cheap ass, but
could you have earrings?
Yeah, we had a dude who had earrings.
I was going to say that wasn't big for when I couldn't because my dad wasn't going for it in the house.
Got you. This dude sounds like a hard ass.
Yeah.
He's old school.
Right.
He was old school. But you know what, Sheen? This guy was light years ahead of every other coach. I mean, light years. Shit we were doing in the weight room and stuff, they're just starting to do it some places today. Like he was light years ahead. Remember that, Chops?
Yeah. What's your song, Dre?
It's funny you said welcome to the jungle. Mine was another welcome.
To the Terradome?
Yes. Public Enemy, baby.
Come on, but yes.
Woo! Welcome to the Terradome.
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah.
Yes. Get you hyped, yeah.
Hey, I will tell you this. When I was head coach down at Rockville, I let them listen to what they wanted to listen to in the locker room. But when we came out on game day, there was a big rock that the boys had to touch. We had bagpipes lead us out. Single file line with the bagpipes leading us out. You touched the rock. It was very intimidating.
Ours was when I think you might have had him also, Mr. I'm looking right at him, not Murray, Mr. Murray.
Okay,
Mr. Murray. He's like, all right, we're coming out. Everybody, when they're doing warm ups the game, they want to be loud. He said, we're totally silent. No talking calisthenics. Said we're not natural. That was the way we were doing it, trying to be intimidating, be quiet, just coming out there showing teams we're ready to do business.
I get it, baby. I get it. Hey, that was the good old days. Hey, our next show next Tuesday is at 5:00. We will have the CEO of the Premier Lacrosse League, Michael Rabel, joining us. We are very, very excited to have Mike join us. He's going to talk about the whole shebang, how it came to be, how they absorbed the other professional lacrosse league, where they are today, where they see themselves in the future.
Can I get a tryout?
Yeah. Can Sheen get a tryout? We're very excited for this. So it'll be next Tuesday at 5:00. Chops, tell them where they can find you at, baby.
You can find me on the X at the Real Big Chop 79. On the gram at Big Chop 79, and on Facebook by my government name, Michael Gregory Mills.
And don't forget the line at Slutty Vegan.
Woo-hoo! Man, I'm trying to tell you, I might have to go this weekend.
Hey, Chops,
Mark, the crazy part about it is when you pull up, they're playing hip hop music. that you hear out in the parking lot where you sit down and go, yeah, man. And nobody, you can try to get it to go, but imagine even if you went from, it doesn't travel well because it's hot piping hot. So even if you went hypothetically from Kiski Field to the McDonald's and 3-4 miles, it's not as good. So everybody gets it and you get right in your car or you go to the other side of the parking lot and we just grub there.
That's what happens in the veggies, man. The veggies are only good for so long.
Fire. Woo!
T-Sizz, where do they find you at?
Hey,
I know you did a little change here.
Yeah, a little change because, Chop said I needed to get out my old ways. So I'm on X and the gram at 1T Youngie.
All right, I get you, young. I get
There
you, young
is.
T.
1T Youngie. Sheen, I know we can find you everywhere, but the other day you told me we couldn't find you on TikTok.
That is right. I gotta make a TikTok. I'm everywhere except TikTok. How about that?
Hey, connect with us here on the Original Sports Podcast by checking out our webpage, podpage.com, Original Sports Podcast with Mark Maradei. Like our Facebook page, join our conversation on Twitter, and also reach out to us on Snapchat at O.S.P with MM. Follow us on Instagram, watch our TikTok, and subscribe to us. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. That's all Original Sports Podcast. Shout out to our networks, Let's Talk Sports, Sideline Sports, and ESEN, Elite Sports and Entertainment Network, as well as Manning Media. Feel free to let us know if you have any comments, questions, suggestions for future guests or shows you'd like to see us do by emailing us at originalsportspodcast@gmail.com. Shout out to our guy, Steve Medley, for doing our voice intro. And shout out to Charlie Hodgson for doing our music. Join us next Tuesday at 5 o'clock, you guys, 5 o'clock for PLL CEO Michael Rabel on the Original Sports Podcast.